Warning: the following podcast contains violent scenes that may be unsettling to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Brian Diaries European Extravaganza. In this episode of the Brian Diaries, we'll be creating a brand new character for Eclipse Phase 2nd edition. Tilmann, our group's resident expert in Eclipse Phase, is going to guide us through this. Tilmann, if you will.
I wouldn't exactly call me an expert, but I did the character creation for Eclipse Phase 2nd edition once before, and they simplified it compared to the first edition, but I still think it's kind of wonky. So I wanted to try it out with you and get your input. I mean, you've tried a bunch of games and you know the first game pretty well. So I thought we'd just have
I mean, you're the closest thing to an expert we have, so...
I've read the most pages, I guess so. No, actually, I think that's Mitch. He has read like every book from first edition, but never
Really?
played.
Huh. I've read like 3 of the books, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like it. You know, it's a really good setting, but I always just skimmed through the rules. I was always like, yeah, I'm never going to play this or something like that.
I don't think I've ever read through the combat rules. I can't get myself to.
Yeah, I can't be bothered either.
All the objects and items and factions and everything.
Oh yeah,
it's so cool.
That's super cool. Like the settings. Like if I would read a novel or watch a TV series in the setting, I'd be so happy. Anyway, on to our character. Who will we be creating today?
Right. So as we've talked about beforehand, I plan to run eventually for the group the gate crashing nano-op better on the inside. And I think that leaves you a lot of options. Really, the only restriction I'm giving you right now is create a gate crasher.
But it is a restriction nonetheless. And, you know, gate crasher, that means we're going to probably want to be at least like explorers or something to that extent. So fortunately, the book has a handy character creation overview, which is a mere 13 steps long. It's great, isn't it? And so let's start with our background. Who do we want our character to be? Let's start with a name first, in fact. We should probably start with that.
Maybe I can quickly explain gate crashing. For anyone who doesn't know,
Go ahead.
Eclipse Phase has these things that are definitely not stargates. In the lore, they are described as technology by the Titans, the super AI that almost wiped out humanity and made Earth completely inhabitable. This super AI disappeared from the known solar system through these gates and hasn't come back yet. Now humanity or transhumanity is slowly starting to use the gates to expand into faraway places in the universe. Of course, they're very dangerous to use, being Titan technology. They're kind of flaky. They don't like to work the way you want them to. So gate crashing is very dangerous. But if successful, very highly rewarded. And you instantly become a hero.
All right. And a hero is what we want. So say our character is a male, though that will be subject to discussion. I mean, does that even matter in Eclipse Phase? You know, you can switch between genders pretty easily, or not even have a gender, just be a robot.
He likes to dress male.
Yeah, exactly. So let's call him Spike, just because I feel like that's such a gate crasher name. Spike. There's always has to be like a Spike or something, you know. I envision him not to be like physically strong, but more like always gets into tight spots. Something like a roguish archetype. First step of character creation is that where you choose our background, which is our character's origin. So, what would you say a roguish background would be? I'd say maybe underclass. It's definitely one you could pick.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, the backgrounds, by the way, they give you skills, and they're then modified by your aptitudes, right?
For right now, Oh, wait, you have the editable sheet. So yeah, they give you a base set of skills with points in them. However, you can rearrange them later.
Okay.
In fact, we are almost 100% going to run into the problem that you have to rearrange them because you have too many points in one skill.
So I think there's 3 backgrounds that I like that kind of would work: underclass, indenture, and freelancer. What do you think?
Okay,
What will
let's
Spike be?
go over the upsides and downsides of each. A freelancer has a very high rating in knowledge skills, and especially like the suggestions here are accounting, data processing. He's very good in research as well. So I think the freelancer is very much focused on mental and even also social interaction. You have persuade and kinesics as well. Is that what you're looking for? I was getting the impression you're not really
No,
a
not really.
fighter, but
No.
still physical.
Yeah, just a bit more physical. This is very research focused, I've realized.
Yeah.
Indenture, though, indenture's a bit more hardware focused. I could see indenture happening because it has melee, free fall, hardware, so you can be like an industrial guy, just a mechanic that gets into really tight spots and stuff. Interface, perceive, and knowledge about black markets and like terraforming or something like to that extent.
Yeah, I would say having free fall fairly high is a good idea.
Definitely. And underclasses, of course, if you want to go straight up, be a roguish, I don't know, mafioso or something. But I really like indenture.
I think it would also work well as kind of a
Yeah, I
tie
mean,
into a story background. Maybe you could define your character as someone who was fleeing Earth when the fall happened, then ended up in an indenture, gave up on it somehow, because normally you would be bound by a contract, but
right.
somehow
Or,
you got out, and now you try this gate crashing thing.
or a gate crashing could also be the way you fulfill your contract. Maybe you have like 30 or 40 years left on your contract, and say every month gate crashing is like a year of indentured servitude.
I guess so.
Yeah, because it's more dangerous, right? So they just
Yeah, especially like the first missions. Like they don't
yeah,
really care to send their most skilled
exactly.
scientists. They just send someone.
Yeah, which would work. We're sort of good at stuff, but also not really all that important. Okay, so let me click that background. I guess we have to choose specializations. Okay, never mind.
Yep. For your knowledge skills, I think it forces you to choose
Yeah.
specializations.
I think I'd choose industrial for him, honestly, or maybe groundcraft. I don't know. I could see all 3 of them being like someone they'd send out, but let's just go with industrial, saying that they want to like mine stuff there. And I'd say no terraforming would be interesting because maybe they want to create another habitat or like another Earth. It could be like a initiative of that sort.
I think so. Honestly, I'm not sure if I'm understanding habitat ops. Is that just?
I think it's just habitat management.
Yeah, I think so. Right?
It sounds like just operations,
Yeah,
just
probably that's just it.
stuff like that. And who do we know?
Yeah, you have one contact to like the shady sides of things.
Maybe gambling. That's how we got indentured in the first place, right? We gambled our years away. That honestly sounds like something that happened in Eclipse Phase, indentured servants gambling for years, like they did in Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, it totally happened. I was like, oh yeah, just playing poker and betting your time. So let's go with gambling. Or do you have another idea?
It does kind of fit. I mean, to the whole indenture thing, basically trading time to have a morph that, well, is probably not going to end up to your liking anyway. The bank always wins.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I guess Spike, the indentured servant, or, well, industrial worker. Let's go to step 2, which is career. What's our primary field of expertise? So we've already said we want to do something like be an industrial worker or something of that sort.
You could have, if you want, a completely different background in your Earth days, maybe. You're not one of the first colonists. That is another background that you didn't go for. So I think there's an option that you had a completely different education and career on Earth. that was
Yeah.
messed up, and then you ended up being this industrial worker in danger.
Well, that's completely possible, actually. First thing you think, Gatecrasher, what are you going to pick? Explorer, right? You'll get everything you need there, but our guy isn't one of the professional explorer types, in my opinion. So he probably wouldn't go that route. He wouldn't really be a covered operative anyway. Maybe an enforcer, but we'll see. Let's go with a techie, because we already wanted him to be like focused on the industrial side of things and basically an engineer of sorts. Because I think the other ones, they're all very specific, the careers, aren't they?
Yeah, they all come with a fair share of knowledge skills.
For the sake of our listeners, I'll just list them as academic, covert operative, enforcer, explorer, face, gene hacker, hacker, investigator, medic, mind hacker, scavenger, scientist, soldier, and techie. So yeah, all very specific jobs, and they all have like specific skills tied to them.
Yeah, and many of them are basically right out the gate. Things like guns or melee, you didn't really want to choose that, I think. Medicine and all the medicine related stuff doesn't seem to fit really.
No, not really.
So I think you have like techie, one option, maybe scavenger.
Yeah, scavenger could also work actually, and he also gets lots of tech stuff, so that would definitely work. I think scavenger would work even better than techie. So for hardware, we already chose industrial and gives us another 60 points. So I think we could go with like electronics instead, because otherwise we just have to shift the points around, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this gives us hardware, electronics, hardware demolitions, pilots.
Hardware demolition sounds excellent.
Yeah, it sounds very useful in grid crashing scenarios or any other Eclipse Phase scenarios. Pilot, I guess we choose space, right? It just makes sense to me. Maybe air, I guess. Because, well, I guess pilot spaces, you're probably going to go there with a group, so you don't need it. But pilot air could be useful, and pilot ground could also be useful.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't really have much ironed out about where your character lives, because I think the habitat that he frequents will basically define this piloting skill.
Yeah, I guess we could chalk it up to story, basically, just...
air would make sense in like
aerostats,
Venus, maybe.
Yeah.
Ground on Mars, I guess. Nautical.
On Europa, right?
Maybe I'm drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, Europa is like completely underwater.
Okay. Yeah, and space, I think, is kind of rare, honestly. I think if you're in a scum swarm, maybe. But
yeah, that's true. And no, flight crew ops, definitely not. Scavenging or smuggling. I'd say we're more scavengers than smugglers. Like, we made our depth gambling, but we don't actually smuggle stuff. Or maybe we could be smugglers, and we could smuggle Titan tech from outside the Titan gate, or try to find it. It's also a possibility.
Maybe you're just really attracted to these Titan machines, and that drew you to gate crashing.
Yeah, I mean, it happens very often for some unknown reason. Yeah, so we could put actually no scavenging and then no Titan machines.
I think scavenging also fits because Spike strikes me as the kind of guy who gets by somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just, you're never really sure how he does it. He's always like perpetually broke, but he always, continues going on. So, okay then. That's part 2 of 13. Part 3 is interests. What else do we do? Did we have a previous career, a second career? Are we learning a new one? Okay, so I'm just going to list these off for listeners again. There's quite a lot. So it's animal handler, artist/icon, async, commander, fighter, forensics specialist, jack of all trades, jammer, networker, paramedic, pilot, rogue, slacker, spacer, student, survivalist. I mean, they even have a rogue as an archetype, but I think Spike is turning into something else. I think Spike would be a slacker. What do you think?
Yeah, by the name, I was going to say maybe survivalist, but the list of skills doesn't really fit what we have decided upon now. Spacer would be much of the same. I don't think that would be a good choice as an interest because it's too narrow. I think you're lacking some social skills right now, aren't you?
Yeah, which Slacker actually does give you.
Yes.
It gives you interface, persuade, and research, which I guess persuade is the only social one. Interface is the one where you search things on the extranet, right?
I think interface is just using
it's
electronic equipment.
Right. That's true.
And I mean, using it like program and infosec would be used to like design programs or override security.
There's a lot of skills here, honestly. A lot of things that are very similar to each other. And yeah.
Rogue, on the other hand, doesn't have persuade, it has deceive, which is similar in many ways, but it's a very different outlook.
Yeah.
It says a lot about the morals of your character.
Yeah, so I guess, do we want Spike to be more darker and more lying, or do we want him to be more lighthearted but still kind of scummy? This is hard. No one told me I had to make hard decisions in character creation.
Would you say that the gambling thing is more like a let's go party?
It's like a very bad decision making. Like, some people, they just have terrible decision making, and like even they know they have massive problems with something, but they just don't acknowledge it and just continue doing the thing they have problems with. I think he'd be like that.
In that case, honestly, I think Slacker fits pretty well.
All right, let's go with Slacker. What's this? Interests? Slacker boy. Spike, you rascal, you. Faction. Okay, so now that we have a rough orientation of our character's background and skill sets, it's time to pick a faction to which they hold allegiance. It also gives us no faction 30 for each one we pick, and we can determine it later after we determine other stuff, or we might go factionless. Okay, so the factions are Anarchists, Argonauts, Bersumians, Brinkers, Criminals, Extropians, Hypercorp, Jovian, Lunar/Orbital, Mercurial, Reclaimer, Scum, Socialite, Titanian, Venusian, or Regional. And
I think at this point we're losing probably like half of the listeners because they don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
so probably just it's best if you decide on a couple that are interesting to you, and then we can.
Yeah. I mean, one part would be Hypercorp. It's sort of, this is my work. But Allegiance, our real question is, would Spike have the guts to fight against the system? I don't think he would. He's a slacker. He just gets by.
I think Hypercorp is probably definitely in the top list then.
Yeah.
Because he's just pro consortium, just because,
Yeah, he's pretty pro status quo, I guess, in that he's probably, I think Hypercorp, working for one of the big capitalist companies who basically own him for 40 years or so.
Also, he's kind of a scumbag, so he's afraid of reputation networks.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, he's sort of a piece of... Yeah, he's not as bad as he could be, we didn't pick Rogue, but he's still in depth and he does like it. I'd say Hypercorp or nothing. All right, part 5, aptitudes. Now we pick one of the templates to determine our 6 starting aptitudes. Okay, so these can be shifted around, but no aptitude may be lower than 5 or higher than 30. So this is basically just created so we have it easier.
I think in the first edition of Eclipse Phase, it was highly suggested to have them in increments of 5. And I think in second edition, it's now enforced.
Oh, yeah, you can lower your will by 5 to raise your cognition by 5. Okay. I mean, if they made it in increments of 5, they could have just made the system D20, but well, why am I talking?
If you want.
Right, because if you divide everything by 5, you just get the D20 result.
But we roll D100 in this game.
Yes, but if you divided everything by 5, you could roll d20s and get the same result.
You can clearly see the influence.
Yeah. Anyway,
We can take a look over your skills so far.
let's actually do that. All right, so we have 40 in freefall, 80 in interface, 20 in perceive, 30 in persuade, 30 in research, 20 in melee, 50 in hardware industrial, and 60 in hardware electronics, 60 in no terraforming, 30 in gambling, hardware demolitions 40, pilot something 30, and no scavenging 60, and no titans 30. We can choose anything that we know, get 40, and we have no hypercorp 30. So I feel like there's a bit of athletics or something missing. Anyways, or I guess poor Spike doesn't get out much. He always has to work.
Yeah, that would be somatics and reflexes, I guess.
Yeah. Let me see. Faction aptitudes. Right. Cognition is the intelligence and intuition is the instinct. Right. So Eclipse Phase has 6 stats. Cognition, intuition, reflexes, savvy, somatics, and willpower. Cognitions are intelligence, intuitions like cunning. So I guess it's wits from World of Darkness.
Yeah, it's reflexes is honestly
Dex.
very self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's Dex.
Unfortunately, savvy is kind of the same. It would also fall under wits, I think.
Well, savvy's more like presence, I think. Presence and charisma.
Yeah, okay, if you're
Because
talking.
Yeah, and empathy. It's like your social awareness, adaptability, empathy, and ability to influence others. Somatics is like physical strength, stamina, stuff like that. And willpower is self-explanatory. So one thing I want him to have is low willpower. Straight up. This dude just does not have the willpower.
Easily tempted.
Easily tempted.
Easily shook.
Yeah, we could go 10 or maybe even 5.
Oh boy. Instant trauma.
Okay, so maybe 10.
Yeah.
And because
if you have
having
willpower 5, you honestly don't get through the fall. I don't think you would.
Yeah, and also just because willpower just is so important in this game.
It is very important. 3 times will is like a roll you have to do at least once per session, I think.
Somatics mid-level. Honestly, I take extrovert, but I take away some from savvy and give some to cognition. Because we're not stupid, we're just not very wise.
Yeah, you're a quick thinker with high intuition. I think that fits to the things that you do for work.
Yeah, I'll just pop 5 away from savvy and put it into cognition.
Yeah, impulsive.
Yeah, we're using an online character sheet created by a person called Oroka. And it's like an online character sheet, so you can just click stuff from the character generation and it literally just puts it into the sheet. So it's pretty great, but the game is pretty new, so it's not like completely perfect yet.
I still highly recommend it. I tried the whole character creation thing on paper, and the sheet that they give you in the book is honestly not meant to be filled in step by step. You have to create your character, taking notes on the side, and then when you're done, you can transcribe it onto a sheet.
I mean, especially even first edition, which was even worse, or, well, more exhausting when it came to character creation. You basically had to have an electronic sheet, or you just took out a notepad and started making notes. It's very, very in-depth, very long. Total skills. 6th step out of 13. The sheet on this website will take care of most of this step for you, but you could be using them, blah, blah, blah. Combine all of the skills, write them on your character sheet, add the base values to the linked skills. Oh yeah, that's if you're using your own sheet. Okay, so no skill should show more than 80 in the total column. right now. So let's check that and see if we actually... Oh, our interfacing is 95. Yay.
I told you, it will happen.
So already we have at least one skill.
This is the point where you will get really annoyed when you are trying to fill it in on a paper sheet.
And it's especially problematic, which Tilmann actually told me, and which I tried to avoid in this character creation, is if you create a very focused character.
In my first try, I created a social media icon. It was very, very focused on like accounting and all the social skills and pretty much nothing else. And he was so overpowered in like these 5 skills, and that I completely had to redesign him in this step 6. And it is not very fun. And one thing that I hope the online sheet does automatically is for the skills fray and perceive, your aptitude counts twice. Only for these 2 though. But they're so essential that, you get a bonus.
Right. So yeah, how do we fix this then? Do we just take the points and give them somewhere else?
Yeah, essentially. You subtract points manually and then keep them in a pool and spend them somewhere else.
All right. But okay, so we'll use those points to somehow flesh them out. And I mean, we have 15 points, right? That we can throw somewhere where we feel like we need to be more developed. So let's throw that into persuasion. I think with our savvy score, we'll have a 60 in persuasion. So we have 45 from the skill, 15 from our aptitude, which will in turn mean that we sometimes talk our way out of bad situations, not just very rarely. And yeah, it does actually count perceive twice. I see now that we have 60 in it, even though we have 20 skill and 20 intuition. Pretty good.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's a good solution, because otherwise you don't really consider perceive to be something you need to spend a lot of points on. You don't want to base your character around being very perceptive. It's kind of a weird thing to think about. So I think it makes sense that you just generally have a high base stat in there.
Step 7, languages. Okay, this one's pretty easy. It's like if your combined cognition plus intuition is 35 plus, you choose one additional language. And if your combined cognition plus intuition is 45 plus, you choose 2 additional languages. Common languages are Arabic, Cantonese, English, French, Hindi, Japanese, Mandarin, Portuguese, Russian, Scandinaviska, and Spanish. Okay. So let's see how much cognition plus int we have. Where are our aptitudes?
I love
15 to 35.
Nowhere in Eclipse Phase is anything mentioned about things like Esperanto, like that tries to unify the language. Not even in the future it will work out.
Just sad, but also not surprising. I mean, though, in Eclipse Phase, I guess they could talk beep boop in robot, right?
They don't need it because they have software to translate it.
Yeah, that's true. In a way they are. Languages. So I guess we get an extra language. So let's pick the first one to be English for simplicity's sake. And the second one, I guess the second one could be English, and the first could be our pre-fall language. Who would Spike be from?
English, and English, parentheses, Australian.
That's harsh, mate. Still, though, you get like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 languages to choose from. That's not a lot. I know that in one of our one shots, my character spoke Aztec.
Oh. Yeah,
because
honestly, I think you can choose just about anything.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. I'm still failing to see how this.
He likes gambling. Yeah, he likes gambling, right? And gambling is very popular in like Asian places. So maybe he picked some Cantonese or Mandarin or Japanese.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good choice.
Yeah, let's go with, let's say, Mandarin.
Also, maybe you walked around on Mars for a while, and that has a strong
Chinese. Maybe that's where he got his debts, because so the triads and stuff like that, and maybe they worked together with the Hypercorps, and they basically sold his debt to the Hypercorps.
They for sure work together with the Hypercorps. That's kind of the problem.
Flex. Okay, every ego starts with 1 permanent flex point pool. Oh, right, that's the wild card pool. I forgot. Yeah. So, Tiltman, would you care to explain pools?
Right. So in the first edition, you had one pool only. That was Moxie. It was in many ways similar to willpower in World of Darkness games. So you could use it to reduce the grade of failure. Like if you fail critically, you could reduce that to a normal fail. You could turn a success into an excellent success. And you can flip a dice roll, which makes sense in Eclipse Phase. Basically, you exchange the digits of your roll, and therefore you could turn a failure into a success, maybe. But now there's 4 pools. The reason why there's 4 is because it basically simplifies changing morphs. In first edition, that was unfortunately very difficult to do, or cumbersome at least, because you need to recalculate pretty much everything on your sheet. Now you have these 4 pools that are very much linked to your morph. So you have Insight, which is a mental pool, Moxie, which is now a social pool, Vigor, which is a physical one. And you can spend those points and regain them through rest or success in your personal goals. Flex, you described it as the wildcard pool, is probably the most interesting and powerful one. You have options to introduce a new NPC, or you can summon one that is already a part of the story and have them appear in a scene. You can introduce an item, define an environment or relationship. Basically, it gives you influence on the story, much like genre points in Slasher Flick, maybe. Hopefully not as broken, though.
Yeah. It's really interesting that it's trying to introduce that collaborative storytelling element to the game, which I think is interesting, but could be problematic in certain games.
Yeah. I mean, I think in pretty much all of them, it ends in the GM determines if whatever is fitting to the scene. So it's all at the GM's discretion in the end, but it could cause problems at the table.
Yeah, anything else would just be mentally straining on the poor game master.
Yeah.
Okay, so we put that thing into our flex pool. Honestly, don't know why that's even a step.
Yeah, I don't get it either. They just did it so you don't forget.
But they just want to have 13 steps. It's okay. Okay, reputation. So we have 100 points to divide between reputation networks. There are 7 networks to choose from, and basically you choose like triads, criminals, gatecrashers, network affiliates used by scientists, anarchists, and stuff like that. So basically networks where you get a reputation for stuff. And I guess the reputation is more important if you're an anarchist, or if your economy is like what's it called? The new economy?
Yeah, I think it's the new economy. Basically, if you don't believe in money.
Yeah, you just always like barter with reputation. So if you like interacting with someone, you get their reputation, they give reputation to you, and it's a giant circle jerk. And it even says that if you have like a nice interaction, you just automatically activate your like muse, which is like the AI you have with you, to just automatically give them a reputation, which, it's interesting to explore. I don't think it would work, but
yeah,
whatever.
It has. It would have the typical social media problems that popular people end up being the rich people.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of doesn't solve capitalism.
Yeah, it's basically like trying to brand yourself to be more popular.
Yeah, I think in the lore they fix it with the fact that everything is recorded online. Like it's so easy to lose reputation as well because, well, there's no privacy like at all. You can't hide.
Yeah. So, without further ado, Spike's reputation. I don't know. Spike's a slacker. He wouldn't have a very good reputation with CivicNet, which is used by the Planetary Consortium, which is hypercorps and capitalists and such. I think he still works for them, so I'd put 25 there.
Yeah, I wouldn't go without it, but it's fair that you're not in the upper half.
Definitely not. Let's see. Okay, C rep. Oh, okay. So that still gives us 75 to play with. Maybe we're actually really good gate crashers and actually do help people there, and we actually found our calling there. So maybe XREP, which is the social network for gate crashers and explorers and colonists, we could have 50.
Yeah, why not? Maybe your character Spike is known as someone who can get out of dangerous situations.
Yeah, it could be even a way he could join the group, It's like, oh yeah, we have this veteran here who sort of already in the sort of gate crash area, and he'll just hook you up with something.
You will explode a thing if need be.
Yeah, I think GREP, which is the network for criminal groups, I think putting the last 25 there would work. I mean,
it's definitely also one of the networks you kind of want to be in from a player perspective. I'm not sure you're probably not a firewall member at this point. Or...
No, probably not. And research, he definitely doesn't do any research. He's not an anarchist. Media, I don't think he's that good. He's not really famous.
Maybe it will help me eventually if you get some really cool XP from exoplanet explorations.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that would be an interesting concept as well, like a gate crasher social media star.
Yeah, there are many. It's a thing in the lore. Like people love this stuff.
I just imagine this guy, who just videos how he does everything, how hard everything is, and then behind him's like a team of 400 people with like cameras and shit who basically do everything.
Have you listened to the Slasher Flick game yet? A long way down?
Not yet. Maybe listen to it tomorrow.
Craig had an excellent character, Daniel D. Danger, who's basically Bear Grylls. And
oh gosh.
It was awesome. So worth it. Everyone should listen to it.
All right. Step 10, customization. So we received 20 customization points and made them spend them on basically everything and anything and everything. And okay.
You could buy extra languages, but you also could buy Psy or increase your aptitudes or increase your...
No, I'm going to spend everything on languages. It's like Spike is suddenly going to be an encyclopedia.
Yeah, 21 languages, easy game.
Specializations. That could be interesting because it lets us override the skill maximum of 80.
That's true. It's something I think I didn't even try out when I made my first character.
Yeah, they cost just 1 CP. Can you have more than one specialization, do you know? In one, same skill?
It doesn't say here.
Yeah, I know it doesn't say here. That's why.
Honestly, I think, why shouldn't you have multiple? If you want to, you can have...
I just see it as
for a gun skill, for example, it would absolutely make sense that you're trained in 2 different kinds of weapon systems.
For real. It's true.
So why not?
Specific, specialist, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. I think we can still increase our aptitudes, which let me check those. Now, I kind of like the way they're distributed. I guess you can go over 20, can you? With aptitudes?
Yes, I think you can go up to 30, in fact.
All right. That actually is...
Because I min-maxed my character completely. I also put all my customization points into flex, I think.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm not surprised. But I think I'd increase cognition by 5. So we're at 20. Let me just recheck my skills so I don't have to redo something else. Because holy shit, it's starting. Yeah. 80, yada, yada, yada. Close, but we still don't have anything else over 80, which is good. Ego traits. Oh, right. Those are merits and flaws.
Yes. And I think you can get more CP if you buy negative traits. Or if you take negative traits.
Okay. What? I think we should definitely pick some, or at least 1 or 2. What would he be good at? Spike. We could give him striking looks. Make Spike a dashing rogue who sort of gets into trouble and then tries to solve it, which would explain why he's so well liked in basically gate crashing communities. Striking looks. Wait, that's a morph trait. That's not an ego trait. I'm an idiot. Never mind.
I just wanted to mention, so ego traits give you or cost CP, depending on whether they are negative or positive. And there's also morph traits, and you can get more morph points by taking negative traits. So
we could take resolve. We don't want him to go insane too fast. So we just take resolve 3, which gives us +5 per level to willpower checks.
So plus 15, in fact.
Yeah. So give us plus 15, which when you think about it, 10 times 3 is 30, plus 15, 45. He's still likely to get some psychological damage, but he's a lot more hardy.
Yeah.
And
for a while, he can take a few hits, but
yeah,
at one point he will be in a corner and find a way out of there.
So cog, that gives us, so we still have 12 left. And honestly, these traits seem very cheap to me. Maybe it's just me. Like they give you honestly 20 points.
Yeah.
And I just don't know where to spend them, honestly. Maybe some skills. Yeah. 1 CP is 5 skill points. So are there any skills we want to add? Maybe we want a bit of deceive, at least a little bit. Like, let's say 20 deceive. Yeah, which costs us 4 CP. So right now we're at 12 used. We still have 8. So what would a great gate crasher actually learn after he's started crashing gates? Maybe a bit of athletics, running away from danger. Yeah, I could definitely see him do that. Why don't we just give 25 there? And that means 5, 9, 12, 17. We have 3 points left. Or 15 points in skills. Oh, we didn't add anything to flex. Oops. 2 CP per 1 flex. So let's add 1 flex, which leaves us with 1 point. Where do we put our little 5 points? Oh, fuck. We actually went over on interface, so I'll just have 10 points to put somewhere. I'll shove it into deceive. All right, then. Spiky, it seems like you're almost finished. Derived stats. Okay, so basically derived stats are stuff like initiative, where it's basically intuition plus reflexes, right?
Oh, shit, what I did.
Reflexes plus intuition divided by 5. And each, aptitude checks, which is the aptitude times 3. Lucidity, which is willpower times 2. Trauma threshold, which is lucidity from the willpower divided by 5. And insanity rating, very important in Eclipse Phase, is lucidity times 2. And infection rating, which is for asyncs, who slowly get more and more infected, apparently, or something.
And no, you're just susceptible to it.
Oh, okay.
And it gets worse if your async level is higher.
Morphin gear. This is step 12, by the way. You've almost made it through, our dear listeners. So the suggested default value is that you gain 6 morph points. And morphs cost a couple points, and then you can use those extra points you have left over to buy extra traits. Extra points that you don't spend are converted to flex points. At 2 morph points is 1 flex point. And they're temporary, and they reset each time you re-sleeve into a new morph. Morph is like your body in Eclipse Phase, if you guys don't know. So because your mind and body are basically divided, and you can install yourself as software into the living brain or the machine brain. Yeah, I guess machine processor, hardware, whatever. And, they all have their own advantages and disadvantages.
Honestly, all of them have disadvantages, and then there's the Reaper morph.
Yeah, there's the Reaper. But the Reaper costs 12 points, so you can't, have him in character creation, usually. So,
It's a challenge.
Yeah, I don't think Spike would have a very good morph, honestly.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think with what we have decided upon right now, I would look at the basic biomorphs, the
yeah.
potomorphs. So far we haven't talked about it, but if you really wanted to, you could look at the uplifts maybe.
It'd
But
be funny. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, Spike's a crow. Or, by the way, Spike's a octopus.
yeah, synthmorphs, of course. If he's completely owned by a hypercorp, he's probably in a synthmorph of some kind.
Yeah, I
Mostly
think a
like the
pod
corpse.
pod or synthmorph is
Yeah.
definitely like both of those are socially seen as inferior, looked
Yeah, it
down on.
depends on where you are. I mean,
I mean, usually,
there's the synthmorph movement on Luna, but that's just rich folks with
yeah, and
expensive
especially on
lives.
like Mars,
Oh yeah.
because Mars has the shitty synthmorphs. A lot of people there basically have the worst possible morph given to them. So yeah, it's just how it is. Worker pod sounds like Spike, but let's see if we can have something else here. Pleasure pod is definitely not Spike's thing.
Secondhand, it was cheaper.
Yeah, it's basically I don't know, a sex morph. Yeah.
Yeah, it has really unusual things installed like pheromones and
Sex switch.
yeah, and scent alteration and all these
Yeah.
things. It can be very interesting to play out, but it's also kind of
Yeah, I mean it's also useful to like blend into criminal places and stuff.
oh yeah.
So Nova crab, just go for a Nova crab. It's literally just a bioengineered from a coconut crab and a spider, grown to a human size. Ideal for hazardous work environments such as vac workers, police, or bodyguards.
I mean, Shaper is obviously like the superior choice here, but I'm not sure if it fits your
No,
character
not
because
really.
those
No.
are really powerful.
Really rare, illegal in many habitats, and I don't think Spike would really need bonuses to infiltration and disguise. It'd be a terrible idea to, let's say, recruit him into Firewall, which of course they probably would or something. Anyway, synthmorphs. Cases are the mass-produced robotic shells. They're literally
They break all
completely,
the time.
yeah, they break all the time, and they're just very, very low quality. The advantage of synthmorphs is that they have additional armor, and they don't feel pain.
The disadvantage is that they have a cyber brain which can be hacked from
Yeah.
the outside.
They have protection from asyncs, though, don't they?
Yes, but they also can't be asyncs.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to check on that.
Yeah. So maybe I could see him being in a synth, honestly. Maybe.
It seems like something that would be quite common. It's not exactly a worker pod. It's completely synthetic, but it still fulfills many of the same roles, I think.
Yeah, it's labor-intensive tasks and environments not suited for biomorphs. If he's one of the first gate crashers, that might just be what they chose for him.
I mean, very often you would enter an environment that isn't rich in oxygen.
Yeah.
Maybe it's actually rich in like caustic gases or something like that. So that's usually a safe bet, going with like a general run-of-the-mill synthmorph.
Yeah. This actually costs us 3 morph points. I'm just going to go ahead and resleeve. And let me just see here. Making characters. Starting morph. Okay, so morphs give us several stats. Tilmann, could you maybe elaborate on them?
So the first couple of things is your wound threshold, your durability, and your death rating. Wound threshold is, I think, a lot like armor, but it doesn't deteriorate. So you don't take damage if the damage is not at least of the wound threshold. Your durability is a lot like, health points, I guess. And your death rating is twice the durability, at which point, if you reach it, the morph is considered completely destroyed and cannot be repaired. If you exceed your durability, I think you are so damaged that you basically can't function, but could be repaired, which of course mostly applies or easily applies to synthmorphs, but many biomorphs can also be regrown if you have the proper medical equipment. There's movement rates. I think those are mostly used for combat. Your morph design is also a walker, meaning you have 2 legs in your case. There could be more, of course. This is important to know in many habitats. Maybe they're not suitable for walking around. You'd have a problem then. And then there's your wear. You have access jacks. You could run a wire from your body to some sort of computer equipment. You have a cortical stack, meaning your ego is stored in a safe location in your body. Cyberbrain, obviously. LiDAR, have to look that up. I don't know off the top of my head. Mesh inserts is normal. Mnemonics and puppet sock I'd also have to look up again. You have a morph trait, exotic morphology. I think that's negative.
I think it is, and it makes it harder to repair or something, right?
No, I think it makes it harder to blend in, and people will react negatively.
Okay.
I think it's social.
Okay.
And you have a basic armor rating here.
Yeah, all synthmorphs, I think, or most get that. Morphing gear.
Let me try to look up those wares that I can't remember.
And I really like this because, like, I could see Spike getting accustomed to synthetic morphs, and if he's ever, like, gets some money or becomes more influential, then he could try to switch to some of the high-end synthetic morphs, which are, well, they're more expensive and they're all very fancy. And they're basically trying to gain acceptance, or their way to gain acceptance for synthmorphs in greater transhuman society, because most people really don't, or they're seen as low class and ugly and a bit unnatural as well, which is pretty funny considering Eclipse Phase is basically killing yourself over and over and shifting your brain, basically your brain's copy around. But yeah.
In many habitats, and I think even in the media, especially like in the consortium, a biomorph is still the ideal.
Yeah.
And I mean, with the indenture, that's the promise you get from the hypercorps. You work for us for like a couple of decades.
Yeah.
And then we will buy you this biomorph and you're free to go and live your life. Obviously, it kind of doesn't work out, but there's definitely a pull in society to like get the biomorphs, which are really expensive, at least in the lore. I mean, in character creation, they are kind of not.
Yeah, because they don't really get all that much stuff. The high-end ones do, but the low-end ones don't.
Yeah. I looked up your wear, so your LiDAR is like a laser sight. You can scan your surroundings and determine distance. Your mnemonics is enhancement of your cyberbrain, which gives you plus 20 to memory recall checks.
All right.
And puppet sock is also interesting. That means you can remote control your morph if you wanted to. Or actually, you can't. You are along for the ride, but someone else could remote control.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they don't have the gear yet here. So just choose a pack. Because this cost us 3 morph points, and we have 3 left. So we can I'll spend 2 morph points to get an extra point of flex, just because I want to annoy the GM. And that means you have 1 morph point left, which we can spend on gear. And minor complexity costs 1 morph point, moderate 2, and major 3. Basically, which would allow us to gain whatever we need for our character. And we also choose a sort of gear pack. And since it's a gate crashing campaign, I think I would pick that one.
The thing is, I think you get 2 gear packs by default. You also get a free muse.
Oh, no. Gear packs may feature default and synth morph. Use whichever is appropriate to your morph.
Yeah, I'm currently on page 68 with all the gear packs.
All right.
And it says every character receives two gear packs during character creation.
All right.
The first is according to your type of campaign. Since we're playing gate crashing, I would say you get gate crashing automatically.
All right.
The second is based on your profession chosen in step 2. Your profession was, let me look over it again.
What
was it? Scavenger.
Scavenger, yeah.
Oh, that's really good, actually. So you get the scavenger pack.
Oh, nice, yeah. Guardian Swarm. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's actually really good. And you said you can buy extra gear with morph points? Was that it?
Yeah, you can. You can spend 1 morph point for minor gear, 2 for moderate, and 3 for major complexity gear. So basically I have 1 point left, so it's like 1 minor gear.
Yeah, it's 1 item, not 1 pack, I think.
Yeah, it's an item. I mean, there's a lot of gear here, so
yeah.
I don't really want to go through it, but it definitely lets you pick whatever you need for the mission you need. So there's basically anything you want to do better, you can find some gear for it. For example, it's funny stuff I got from the Gate Crashing campaign stuff is synth morphs get anti-glare, industrial armor, and medicines, which I assume are machines that sort of heal our suit, or repair it rather. And biomorphs and pods, they get auto cook, healing spray, and a standard vac suit. So it also distinguishes between like if you're a synth morph or not, which is really nice because there's no use giving armor to like a synth morph.
Dude, you get TechNet, which is like so broken.
Really?
Yeah, it is. I think only 1 character in the group actually needs it, but you can hook up everyone around you, and you basically get a full connection of all your thoughts. So you can communicate without talking. You can send each other like instant recordings of what you see and witness.
You know what's really funny?
What is?
Every single campaign gets TechNet.
Really?
Yeah. Firewall, gate crashing, and infomorph. All 3.
Okay. I mean, it makes a lot of things very simple because basically you're never out of scene, which is also kind of the problem.
I mean, it probably has like a range, especially.
Yeah. If you enter a building that has like mesh filters, obviously it kind of falls apart. But if everyone is in there, like, why not?
All right. So we have our gear. We have our electronic rope, medium pistol, portable soul archive, our TechNet, our anti-glare, our industrial armor, and our medicines, and some other scavenger stuff like diamond axes and guardian swarms, which is like a nano swarm that protects us, I think. Now it's our motivation. We choose 3 motivations, which are personal aspirations that our character pursues. Most of these are long-term. Okay. Yada, yada, yada. So same as first E, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so...
Weirdly enough, wasn't this the first step in first edition character creation?
I think
Choose
so.
your motivations. And here it's the last.
Okay, so first motivation is based on our faction choice as in plus faction interests, as in hypercorp interests, which I guess is fair. We want to be seen as useful.
Yeah, you're playing their game, you know? You're working with them in their exploration. It doesn't matter whether it's interesting to you. You're trying to get a better position in that society.
I think the second motivation would be getting out of debt. Either, just paying them off, which I'm sure you can do, or
Spike is sure he can do that, yes.
Yeah, he's great at it. I mean, he'll just gamble more. And
I mean, he can't die. He's bound to win eventually.
Right? The odds are stacked in his favor. And then I'd choose a negative motivation, like something he doesn't want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this one's harder. Because I'm not sure where... He's in a synth morph, right? So
his dark past shall not catch up to him.
Oh, his dark past. Dark and mysterious past.
Yeah. Make this a noir type game and he gets a trench coat.
So what sort of thing does he oppose? I guess since he's such a corporate stooge, but he's there with the criminals. I think he'd oppose anarchists then. Like, he does not want to see new anarchist habitats created on wherever they gate crash.
Would he be... What about Extropia, though?
Yeah.
Technically, that's kind of an anarchist habitat.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you think maybe...
But we can always flesh it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, anti-socialism. That's actually... I mean, those fucking socialists.
I mean, there's a lot of negative propaganda about them.
Yeah, that's true. The hypercourts probably brainwashed them or something.
Yeah. Titan sucks.
Titan sucks. Don't buy their products. Fucking shitty washing machines.
I don't think you can buy their products.
No. No. Well, I mean, they do have corporations. Like, they just have...
Yeah, true. They have the... what's they called? Microcorps or mini-corps?
Yeah, microcorps, yeah, I think.
But they're all state-owned.
Yeah, which, by the way, why aren't they worker-owned? That just... I don't understand that. Like...
don't get into it. I don't think it makes much sense.
Yeah, let's not.
Honestly, Titan is somewhat democratic, actually.
Titan's a bit weird, but, it's Eclipse Phase. Everything's weird, and it's supposed to be that way, and it's good that way.
Yeah, right.
Although sometimes, you might have to make judgment calls of what is and isn't canon, and what you believe to be true and not. Anyway, so that's how we created Spike, our scummy scavenger gatecrasher / corporate stooge that hopes he can sort of gamble his debt to the corporation back and live a normal life, which for him is living day to day on shitty wages. But he's a synthmorph. Well, not... Yeah, so, at least he doesn't have to eat.
Does he actually own his morph, though?
Probably not. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like there might be some terms in the contract that if he's gate crashing, then they might allow him to actually, like, give him ownership of the morph. Or, I don't know, maybe if he finds something.
Yeah, I think in the side text of the books, it's described that even the hypercorps have caught on that it's probably a bad idea to, like, re-sleeve their workers every other day because it stresses them out.
Yeah,
so
because
now the status quo is just give them their worker morph and leave them in there for like months or years.
Yeah. It could be they just misfiled it and forgot to re-sleeve him. So just kept it. It seems like a Spike thing to do. Maybe he even helped it with a bribe.
Hidden negative trait that we don't know about.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, thanks for listening. And we hope you go and buy the PDF and play Eclipse Phase. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, hello again, folks. I'd like to tell you about the Facebook group we run called White Wolf and Onyx Path RPGs, Gameplay and Media. Have you ever wished you could have an easy way to find gameplay videos and podcasts, or just media in general that deals with your favorite White Wolf role-playing games? Or have you ever wished you could find a forum to share gameplay that you have recorded? One that won't be drowned out by random posts and discussions, so that your media could get the attention you deserve. The group is specifically run with the sole intent of it being a one-stop shop for people to view or share media involving the games we all love. We take thorough steps to ensure the page does not become cluttered and is easy to traverse. The group is already immense and continuing to rapidly grow, with new media being shared every day. Stop on by. We hope to see you there.